Hi, I'm Neil, and I struggle with anger and its management, or historically, lack thereof. Today, I'd love to share two tips with you, one easy and one kind of medium hard, for helping you lock in your anger management strategy. My first tip to lock in your anger management, the easy one, builds upon some traditional classic advice for dealing with anger that for me has never quite worked. When something irks you, you're supposed to breathe, right? Pause, center yourself, whatever that means. Not let your goat get gotten, so to speak. But for me, and maybe you, there's no time for that. The space between feeling the emotion and me expressing the emotion is very, very small, almost non-existent. All that is to say, for me, there's no time, no space for that traditional advice of breathe to be effective. It's kind of useless. To make it more effective, I've been charging up that advice with the following. As soon as I notice that my goat has been gotten, start breathing. I missed that initial chance to get a handle on my reaction, but as soon as I notice that things are a little bit out of control, I'm gonna double down, get back in control, pause, breathe, center myself. I need to remind myself that I am working on my anger and that there is a gap between feeling the emotion and expressing it, even if it's really tiny. I need to work on retraining my brain to widen that gap, and that takes time. It is a process. If I miss that opportunity to head off the angry expression before it happens, that's okay, but I'm gonna seize the very first chance that I have to get back in control. It really helps, at least for me, and it makes me feel like I have some agency, especially when that traditional advice of just breathe doesn't really land. So what's my medium hard tip? Well, there's probably a reason that you get so angry, right? It's probably a good idea to spend some time figuring out what that is, whether with the help of a therapist or just with some intense, deep thought, sitting in a room by yourself. See if any revelations come to light and if any major life overhauls need to be made. Some classic reasons you might have chronic overinflated anger are a need to always feel in control, a sense of injustice, or feeling that you always need to be right. For me, it's kind of an unholy trinity of all three. One way that I deal with stress is trying to have as much control over my surroundings and my life as possible. And that is not always possible with kids and cats and everything in between. And if I don't have flexibility in my plans, that lack of control can really exacerbate my anger and lead to some not so great outbursts. One definition of anger is that it's an emotional response when you come up against feelings of injustice or unfairness. And anger coming from those sorts of things definitely has a place in a healthy emotional life. But when those feelings keep arising and are out of proportion to the injustice or the unfairness, there's probably something else going on that you should investigate. Feeling like I always need to be right, feeling like I am always right, scratch that, is definitely a sneaky source of some of my anger. In response to seeing something or someone else being wrong, I can sometimes get a little bit of self-righteous anger that's just so delicious because I know that I am right and what I'm seeing is wrong, and I would never do that, and my anger is how I'm going to express that self-righteousness. It feels really good in the moment, usually, but to people around you, it still just comes off as obnoxious, unbridled anger. So it's something I'm working on. So let's recap. Easy tip, breathe when you can. It might not be straight away when the anger strikes, but as soon as you notice that you're angry, pause, breathe, center yourself, remind yourself you are a work in progress. You are rewiring your brain to change your responses. That knee-jerk response might still be anger for now, but you're getting there. Second tip, try to figure out why you are so angry. Which is easier said than done. But if tip one isn't working, probably do a little bit more work and figure out what your triggers are, what is making you just so rage-filled. It'll probably improve your life and the lives of those around you.